It's wheat harvest, so I'm throwing a tasty lunch for some of my favorite fellow farm wives because we deserve it. For dessert, I'm baking up my sweet potato mini cakes with cinnamon cream cheese frosting, which are super moist, perfectly spiced, and decorated with a slew of beautiful accessories. To get started, I've got a couple of sweet potatoes here that I've just roasted until they're tender. So I'm scraping out the flesh. I don't want to get the skin in. And I'm gonna mash them up and add directly to the cake batter. And what that does is infuses the cake with so much moisture. And then you also get the nutrition of a sweet potato. So these are basically healthy little cakes. I'll drizzle in 1/3 cup of buttermilk, which will add that great tanginess. And also, since the buttermilk is cold, it'll help to cool down the hot sweet potato. I don't want to be combining hot sweet potato with eggs and then getting a scrambled egg cake. Ew, gross. I'll mash this until it's smooth. I love Wheat Harvest. It's the epitome of natural beauty on the farm. It's just a whole mood, and I'm here for it. The buttermilk has done its job of cooling down the sweet potato, so now it is safe to add a couple of eggs, 1/2 cup of neutral oil, and then 1.5 cups of sugar. I'll whisk this up. I love this orange color of the batter. So good. Okay, this is combined and smooth. I'm ready to add my dry ingredients. 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. I'm sprinkling the dry ingredients evenly over the surface of the batter so that they get evenly distributed. 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, which will react with the acidity of the buttermilk and allow these cakes to get extra fluffy. 3/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. Some beautiful autumnal cozy spices. 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Gotta have cinnamon with sweet potatoes. 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. And then 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. A little bit goes a long way, but it adds great dark depth. I'll whisk this all together into my batter now, but before I incorporate the dry ingredients in with the wet ingredients, while they're still on top of the batter, I'll give them a rough little whisk just to combine them amongst each other before incorporating with the wet ingredients. Okay, and now I'll gradually whisk all of this together. And the batter is still maintaining that gorgeous orange color. Now that I can no longer see any dry bits of ingredients, I'm gonna stop mixing. I don't wanna overmix. I've got my cute as a button mini cake pans here. These are 4-inch cake pans that are greased and lined on the bottom with parchment paper. I found these online, but if you don't have these or you don't want to wait to order them online, this batter bakes up beautifully as cupcakes or just a regular 8-inch cake as well. I'll divide the batter evenly between the cake pans. And it's always cleanest to use one of these ice cream scoops. And these will ultimately divide in half and then decorate as 2 layers. They'll be like layer cakes for dolls. These will bake now at 325 degrees until a toothpick stuck into the centers comes out clean, so about 35 minutes. Oh yeah, baby. I'll let these cool while I make my frosting. This is a straightforward cream cheese frosting that gets lovely warmth from some cinnamon. I'm starting with 1 stick of butter that's softened and then 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. The tangy brightness of a cream cheese frosting with a hearty spice cake is a match made in cake heaven. I'll mix these until they're combined and creamy. And then I'll sweeten with 3 cups of powdered sugar. I'll add 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, which will be just the perfect amount to complement the cinnamon that's in the cake. I'll mix this slowly at first so that the powdered sugar doesn't fly everywhere. We're not ready for any snowstorms yet. I'll add a pinch of salt and a splash of vanilla. And a drizzle of heavy cream makes this luxurious. This looks smooth and cloud-like. I'll scrape this into a piping bag fitted with a large round tip and decorate. My cakes are cooled. First thing I'll do is I'll cut this big thick layer into 2 shorter layers. I'll use a serrated knife to just very carefully saw it in half. Ta-da! I'll stack these up with a layer of frosting in between. I'll start in the center and just pipe this on, working my way out to the edge. I'll put on a hat and top with another thick layer of frosting. And because it's fun, I'll just smooth it out with my mini offset. Give it some nice texture and shape. I've got my canvas, and now I have all of my toppings, some candied sliced oranges, candied ginger, edible flowers, and fresh herbs. I've got thyme and rosemary. Super cute.